6:46.
It is.
Oh.
Okay, the time is 6:40, I'm gonna say 6:45. So I'll call the work session of the mayor and council for the city of Snellville, Georgia for Monday, July 12th, 2021 to order. We'll first go through our regular business agenda. We have for the invocation, we have Pastor Greer from Zora United Methodist Church. And we have, the Lions Club will be doing the pledge. We have proclamation for Grace Power. Approval of the minutes. Under new business, we have ordinance 2021-18, which is just adoption of the speed zone ordinance. This is a housekeeping matter. We have to do this every couple of years to allow us to continue to run radar on the main streets. Did you have a question?
The paperwork stated that there were some minor changes. Any idea what the minor changes were? Because I couldn't find any that had changed.
The only changes would have been adding new streets.
Okay.
That weren't in the city when we had the ordinance the first time, about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Moving over
By me,
By you.
Saddlebrook and all those.
Saddlebrook.
new- Yeah, just, if it comes up, I just want to be able to give an answer. Thank you.
Okay, and then we have item B is resolution 2021-07 for us being able to collect the ad valorem, the real and business personal property taxes and stormwater fees. So this is our resolution that we needed to move forward with everything, but that process is ongoing. Melissa's been talking a lot with the city of Duluth and how they do things, and this ordinance is basically modeled after what they've done.
Okay.
Butch, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, and you'll hear later, we're on track for everything as far as the building's concerned. The new software module, the company that's gonna help us print and stuff everything. The one change will be, and Duluth recommended this, said that it made a big difference in their collections, is to give 90 days instead of 60. So bills go out September 15th, the final due date would be December 15th, and delinquent after that, so.
And I noticed you said it would cost 30,000 more the first year and then about the same
Right,
after that, so.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we'll know exactly, we'll have control over it, so.
Then we'll be appointing, with your confirmation, Scott DeForest to the Planning Commission. We have award of the bid for demolition of 2498 Main Street East, which is the Simpson property. So that's coming in at $31,000.
A little higher than, but, if there's potential for hazardous waste from a fire and everything, they have to build it in. And they're gonna be very cooperative as far as our collecting of the, however much granite we need.
And then we have confirmation of Deborah Jones to the Downtown Development Authority.
Are we adding anybody to Board of Appeals?
I never called you. Are we good to go with adding people to our boards now?
You are. As long as it's unanimous, there's no opposition, then you can nominate and they can approve without going to the boards.
The boards, okay. Then we can, if everybody's agreeable with adding, now, Deborah Jones is on, we're about to put her on the DDA.
She can do DDA and she can do Board of Appeals. She can't do PC and Board of Appeals.
And we're
Is there
good.
any?
I don't see, I'm trying to think of a situation where it would be a conflict, but the Board of Appeals is not going to. if it's a DDA action, they're not gonna have to go through the Board of Appeals, so, yeah, she could do both.
Okay. So if everybody's okay with putting Emmett Flower and Deborah Jones on the Board of Appeals, because we had 2 open spaces on that,
We're about to have a third.
yeah.
So,
Want to amend the agenda, or when's there, do we have a meeting before they have a meeting? Board of Appeals? Sounds
like
we
the-
do, 'cause they're next week.
Emmett's gonna be here. Let's just get it done.
Okay, that's fine.
So if y'all want to amend the agenda,
Yeah.
you can add that on as item F.
Does it matter what posts they're on, gonna be in?
As long as it's a vacant post.
I can look it up real quick if it matters.
Yeah, I mean, we should go ahead and
Yeah.
appoint them to a specific post.
Well, but, yeah.
How about an occupied post 1, an occupied post 2?
Well,
They may have different expiration dates of the
Right.
posts.
So that's what makes it important.
Okay, so now, under review correspondence, any correspondence, Rich?
No, ma'am.
I have a couple of things. One is, everybody, I think pretty much everybody responded to the email I sent about the Artworks ask. Based on the, all the questions and the comments and thoughts, I'm thinking that it would be best if we can get representatives from Artworks to come and meet with us, maybe do a specially called work session for 30 or 45 minutes, to hear what they're doing, what their plan's gonna encompass. Because somebody had mentioned about who the people are. I don't think they've gone out for a bid or found the firm yet. So this is, they're kind of in the initial stages of doing all of that, so we don't have any kind of information on that yet. But to hear what they want to do, I've got my thought that it may be beneficial and cheaper for the city to go in with them and then have that same group do a little bit more targeted work for Snellville for a little, it would be an extra cost versus us going out and hiring our own company to come in and help us with something, but I don't know that.
Yeah.
So is everybody agreeable to doing
Yeah,
a work session?
just to hear what they have to say and
For sure.
get an idea and get our questions
Right,
answered.
right.
Yeah.
That won't hurt.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
can I ask you a question on
Yes, sir.
previous business? We're showing vacant post 2 on Board of Appeals, which the term expires in June of '22, and then we have post 3, which expires June of '23. Do you have a preference who has the longer term, Deborah or Emmett?
I do not. Why don't we put Deborah at 2022,
Okay.
since she's going on DDA,
Okay.
and she's also on URA.
And that's post, which time?
That will be post 2,
And
and Flower will be post 3, and
His
you want the
expiration
expiration
is
dates or?
June 2023.
Okay, so I'll
June
write them
30th,
here for,
2020.
yeah.
30th.
Well, I'll be,
22.
oh, yeah.
22.
You could just, when you amend the agenda, you can just say, add item F to appoint Emmett Clower and Deborah Jones to the Board of
Yeah,
Appeals. And I'll put the post and everything
And
else.
both of those were due to resignations?
Yes.
One was Matt's.
One was Matt's, and one was,
I'm gonna let someone else do that because I messed up just writing it down, so. Good luck, Dave.
You got that or?
No,
Yes.
it's not one.
Either one, I got it.
it's not Marcy's,
Yeah.
no,
Okay,
no.
Hers,
yeah.
well, actually, her term expired June 30th of this year.
Oh,
Though she remains a member unless replaced otherwise, so. which is important for purposes of quorums. So we have to bear that in mind as well.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it shouldn't be an issue at this point.
right.
And then I had a conversation with Pastor Greer, who is the pastor with Snellville United Methodist Church. Not Snellville, Zor, sorry, with Zor. They have a lot of really good stuff going on to support the community. And he's doing the invocation tonight. But they also, he had asked me to participate in a car show they're doing on August 21st as a judge, but I've got a baby shower that afternoon. So just wanted to throw it out there to see if anybody wanted to participate.
Dave would be a good car judge.
August 21st, Dave, you want to do it with me?
We have
Sure.
a couple of
Dave and I
excellent
will.
judges here.
But it sounds like they sent me an email with everything they've got going on at the church. I'll forward that to everybody. And
Is it
has-
like classic cars? Is that
Yeah.
what it is? Yeah.
I was on the phone with them about a half hour.
Oh, okay, okay,
So
good.
we went over- And they've got a lot of stuff doing and a lot of stuff they want to do.
Yeah. But the car show deal too, I could probably get out there in the morning for a little bit, but it sounds like craft vendors and just all sorts of stuff going on, so it sounds like it's gonna be a pretty big day.
Sounds like a really good guy.
Yeah, I was enthused talking to him. I'm gonna put him together with some, other people that I've met, Jomie George with Snellville Community Meets, and just let them sit down and talk too, so that it just seems like there's a good, collection of grassroots people doing things in that Centerville area, and I think as much as we can encourage them all to get together and help support each other will really help. Really help a lot. Okay, city attorney's report?
Only thing I have to report, our nuisance at 2468 Mountain View, still on track for a court hearing on the 21st. We did serve our complaints. The property owners, conservator replied, indicated to me that they intend to file an answer that says they wish to abandon the property. So, not heard back from the reverse mortgage company. The solicitor spoke to me. She had a wonderful conversation with Mr. Choate, and she understands now the gravity of everything going on. And so, and I also put her in touch with Mr. Roberson as well, gave her his number. So when the time comes, they can be in contact. She understands that the house is not habitable and that we really can't go back there. So,
And I guess there still are no options we're aware of for where Mr. Elam can go.
that's
still-
where we're trying to
Trying
see
their
what
best.
the solicitor can do with the with Mr. Roberson and see if they can find something along those lines. So,
But we're kind of hoping, at least he's being cared for at the jail. And if, if he doesn't have a place to return to, that kind of puts more pressure to get him somewhere that would be beneficial for him.
Yeah, I hate to see him home. I mean, it's just a bad situation all the way around.
Chief Gregg informed me that the yard has been mowed front and back, so.
Probably Mr. Roberson, maybe.
maybe-
I don't think it is. My understanding is it's someone else that comes in a car and takes a lawnmower out of the back that does not fit Mr. Roberson's description, but there was a concern that
Wasn't me.
evidently some other people had been in the house at one point with the gentleman that's been staying in there. So,
Oh.
but obviously that's not an issue right now. So,
Okay.
yep, that's all I got.
All right, so we'll move on to our discussion items, and first we have a review of the park master plan with Lisa Platt. I will step out of the way.
What, do you want to sit here?
No,
You sure?
This is pretty quick, there's not a lot to it. What I was going to do is kind of just review what the two phases that we've already gone through with the master plan, and then what the possibilities are for phase 3, which would be the next phase that would be coming up. I actually have to hit it since this isn't working.
You may have to hit it.
Yeah, I may have to hit it. So we started the, originally in 2006, and then we finished Phase 1 in 2009, and then 2B in 2015. So we've been, like I said, kind of going at it in phases, mostly because of budget, but these are just showing, obviously, where we were on the left were some of the fitness stations that we had from the beginning, and then a couple of the new ones. Hopefully, as we move forward, it'd be nice to, as we extend the fitness trail, to actually probably have at least maybe 10 or 12 actual stations, because then you get enough space in between that it's just, right now we have 5, so it'd be nice to have some more. Obviously, the tennis courts on the left, obviously you can see where they were cracked, and even those colors are kind of outdated. The red and the green, and the green and the blue are kind of the newer colors that's kind of trending. Like I said, obviously it looks much better. Softball field, we had just one previously, and obviously we have 2 now that are a nice complex with everything, that's the lighting and everything. So like I said, as we've moved forward, the improvements are really noticeable. This is just one piece of the equipment, but the tractor was, I think, older than me, but we've just been doing really well with updating the equipment and staying on top of it, which makes a difference in how we can actually work on fields and do everything. So we've...
Lisa, can I ask you a quick question on equipment?
Yeah.
When we were driving through the park, Sean mentioned that he could use some smaller equipment. Did we get him his extra weed eaters and?
Yes.
Okay.
We were able to get most of those at the end of this budget, but I'll still have a few more that I need to get with
Okay.
this next budget. The smaller equipment just gets really used up pretty quickly and kind of abused. We do allow community service workers to use the smaller equipment. They can't use anything that's rideable, but it's a lot of area to weed eat and to edge and do all that. So we go through the small equipment quite a bit. But these are just some pictures of the stuff around the park that we've already improved. But there's obviously a lot more that we could do that could serve the community and really do a lot more. This was just to show where we're at, and just kind of as a guideline. We started on the passive side, and we've kind of come about halfway, so everything on that side was what we have been taken care of with Phase 1 and Phase 2, and then Phase 3 would be left of that. But that was just to give you a little kind of a guide of where we are. And then Phase 3, we kind of reassessed it in 2019, and these were just some of the things that came up through public meetings, through talking with the design group, and what we would like to see happen or what could happen. The reconfiguring of a new entrance, which would be on the Marigold side, move the basketball courts, move or repair the maintenance shop, take down the Sykes concession, which is also a restroom, create a new restroom, new playground, 2 more tennis courts, reroute the fitness. All of that's been on the list for pretty much the whole time.
Is that Sykes concession the one at
Is the one that's
pool?
right next to the tennis courts.
Right next to the tennis.
It's got a lot of pressure issues, and really, to be honest with you, when we readdress that, it really needs to be on the other side of the road, because I don't know if everybody remembers, there's those black gates that are on either side of that, and during soccer on Saturdays we have to close those because kids never look when they cross a road, so they're constantly running across the road.
Right.
If we would have it on the field side, we could leave that road, available to vehicles, because nobody would really be crossing. So just something to think about. But again, the building, and this isn't all it could have, it's just certainly a gym, fitness track, meeting rooms, offices, rental rooms, possible adult section. Like I said, this is just some of it. And this was one of the drawings that came out of, like I said, 2019. So again, just so you have a reference. So this again is that side that we've already done. This would be like the current office parking lot, just to kind of, and the 4 tennis courts are what's there now. So everything past that could be a possibility of being a new section. The big orange is the multi-purpose building, just to, so everybody can kind of, and again, this isn't in stone, it's just one of the options that came out of all of the previous meetings.
What was the smaller orange? Up there.
Up in the old recycling center location.
Oh, over here, oh, I just want to make sure, over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be the possibility for the new maintenance shop. So, and like I said, nothing's in stone, it was just possibilities. Again, fitness trail, increasing it, taking it around, the hope would be to make it an actual 2 mile. Right now it's 1.3, it's a weird number right now. But there's a lot of possibility. The one on the far right is actually the Oak Road Park fitness trail. Fitness equipment has really like boomed. I mean, there's all kinds of, options and things out there. And I will say, the 5 pieces we have, I mean, they really get used. They really, really do. Basketball courts, again, color options are unlimited. It's really kind of self-explanatory. There's just a lot of options. Restrooms are always, nobody likes public restrooms as it is, and Sykes definitely needs to be updated at this point. It is our oldest, now it's our oldest one that has not been updated.
Is Sykes the one by
Tennis.
tennis courts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Playgrounds, again, they're so creative with what they've come up with playgrounds, so, anything is really possible. The mayor said kind of do pie in the sky, so this is pie in the sky, to have a turf field, it would be nice, there'd be no, wouldn't have to worry as much about weather delays or anything like that, so that was just, I threw that in here just as a possible hope. The picture didn't come out so good, but I know the Gwinnett Library is now in the mix, and again, there's so many possibilities. I just threw in some, but we can really evaluate and just figure out what we want to do with that. The community center will really raise SPRD to a different level, because there's just things we cannot offer right now because we just don't have the building. And again, all of these are just a few of the options and possibilities and the things that we can actually address with, our residents. Again, just lots of options. This, again, was just a possible design. It has everything in there. The big square is the gym. Then there's restrooms, these are just meeting rooms up here. This would be the initial entryway, and so those are staff offices right there. So it can hold a little bit of everything. Again, layout's not in stone. It was just this layout kind of got almost everything in there that we were initially talking about, as far as being able to maybe have a separate section that could be quarantined, I guess, if that's what you want to say, and still have renters be in the main section. So it's like I said, it's just one possibility. And these are all going to just be samples of what it could look like, what it could be. Again, just really exciting because there is no limitation. This is, if anybody's never seen it, this is kind of shows you what the track around the top would look like. So you'd be inside the building, inside the gym, looking down on it. But not everybody's seen that before, so I threw that in there just so everybody could kind of have an idea of what it would look like. Having the gym, obviously it's it's not just basketball. We can even, if there's, depending on the type of event it is, but if the movies get rained out, we can even move inside. So there's a lot of options with the multi-purpose building that we just don't have now. The rooms can be broken down and changed around to utilize for different things. Obviously, not a full catering kitchen, but some kind of a kitchen to allow for banquets and whatnot. Again, there's a lot of possibilities. Those were just some of them. Like I said, I wasn't going to get into the weeds with this, but I think for sure, and we've already continued with the connectivity to the town center. I think that's big. As we move forward, that's what people are looking for. It gives them a way to do it without getting in a vehicle. And I think if we continue with what we're doing, we can service the needs of the citizens and compete with those around us. I mean, I don't know that, we'll ever be able to totally with Gwinnett, but I feel like we already offer things and give that more community feel than Gwinnett does. Gwinnett's bigger, they have more land, they have a lot more stuff, but we hear it all the time that we're just more user-friendly and more engaged. So I think that's what we capitalize on. And then finally, just hopefully you'll find the support with this, and I think if we can just keep moving forward, we'll lift the Parks and Rec Department to a new level if we're able to move forward with this next phase and actually complete that side of the park. We really haven't touched that side of the park. So just doing that, but the multipurpose building will bring us to a whole new level and a whole new set of services that we can provide. So that's really all. Like I said, it was kind of short and to the point. Very good.
I have one question. This isn't about park though, but it's about Parks and Rec. When we attended the last senior center advisory meeting, and one thing Lisa said, or not Lisa, Kathy said was that she was hesitant to expand their outreach, I believe she said, because like when it comes to trips, they only have the one bus and they can only accommodate just so many people, and they're hesitant to let more, I guess, let more people know about the opportunities for trips and that kind of thing. Are we looking at another bus, a larger bus, anything
We
like
had
that?
2 buses.
We do have 2 buses,
have
but
two,
it's
okay.
still not, we fill up. I mean, there's times when they've had to do, so a trip can be 2 buses, so that's a trip. They've had to double up and pick another day and do another
Okay.
load of people. So that's usually what we do. There's a waiting list, and then if there's that many, like the plays are really big with that. The plays, I
yeah.
think twice now we've had to do
Okay.
2 trips. We've had one date, and then there was such a desire that we've had to book another one.
Okay.
So not all the trips are like that, but there's just certain ones that everybody really likes to do, and if we
Yeah,
have enough,
yeah.
then that's what we'll do.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we've kind of adjusted that a little bit. It's just you can only do 20 at a time, because the 2 buses only hold that. Now, sometimes if there's 21 or 22, to be honest with you, one of us will drive and we'll take the SUV. If it's just 1 or 2 more on the waiting list and that's it, then we'll do that. But if
Okay.
it's a long
Okay.
waiting list, then we have to book another date and just add a whole nother trip.
Okay.
Would it be cost effective to get a charter bus?
They do. You have to have, I think it's 35. So that's the glitch with that, is that you have to have that. But really, it's been so popular that like the next one they have is a charter, and I think there's one more they've talked about. But there's
Okay,
been enough,
okay.
but you gotta hit that. That's always been our problem previously, is that you have to hit that number. So sometimes they partnered with other agencies, and so like they'd have, 20 and maybe we'd have 15, and you hit that number and then you go. Well, now we've been having enough interest that actually we've been able to do the charter.
Good.
So,
Good.
yeah, which is even better, really, to be honest.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
buses
it's
are
a
a
little more
little more
comfortable.
nicer.
Plus, it
Little
doesn't
nicer.
take as many staff either, so.
Having ridden on the little buses,
For extended periods of
I
time.
would not want to put my
Yeah.
dad through that,
Yeah.
or you through that, or
Exactly. Well, that's why usually.
just Dave.
the-
I would put Dave through
The
that.
charters are usually our big trips, like if they're going multi-night,
Yeah.
then usually there's enough that we'll do that for the charters, but yeah, I agree, that's why normally we keep it to the day trips for those buses,
Yeah.
because they're not very comfortable at all.
Yeah. We know that.
So promoting more would get you to 35 a whole lot quicker, wouldn't it?
What would,
Promoting your events to a wider audience would get you to 35 a lot quicker.
yeah, well, you still have to be a member though. So, yeah.
Well, and part of the conversation that Gretchen brought up about the issue with doing wholesale promotions to get more members, and right at this point, is that the building, when it's being used, a lot of the rooms and a lot of the activities are at capacity. So to invite 100 or 200 more, or to go out and get another 100 or 200 more members, now you've got more waiting lists and more frustration because people can't participate in the activities that are already going on. So it's,
Yeah, it's a balancing act, for
we're
sure.
kind of right at that point, is what it sounds like, with capacity. So, you know, I think those are all things that need to be weighed out, certainly.
Because one thing Lisa put in there about more staff, if you opened it at night and you had more nighttime programs, if you had Saturday programs,
Right.
you could do that. If you had the staff to cover it. So
And that's where.
it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, and I think that's where the adjustment or movement, whatever you want to call it, to the multipurpose building. I'm 55 and I don't want to say I'm going to the senior center for an event. So I think, you know, you get rid of that stigma, and it, in theory, the building would be open till 10. So yeah, you have programs that go into the evening, so I'm working till 6 or 7, but now, I can go to the gym because it's open and do whatever program is being offered. So I think, again, that expansion will help part of that too. It gives us space, it gives us the hours, and it kind of gets rid of that stigma of the name. And no matter what agency you go to, if that's the name of it, that stigma is still there. It really isn't just us. It's just, if you call it an adult program, it's just different, because it's 55. So, I mean, although my mom at 82 said, well, I want to go where all the seniors go.
Yeah, I don't want to go with the old people.
Right, exactly. So I don't think any of us think we're.
My mom's 86, and she keeps telling me, yeah, this older couple moved in. It's like, older how?
It's a great attitude.
It is a good
Well,
attitude.
and then she'll correct herself, and she'll go, well, everybody's old up here, but these people are old.
But all of these things, this is a good lead into our meeting Wednesday. All of these things need to be on the table and discussed, and as we work through the process. Because a lot of things you saw a turf field, you saw more lighting. You can light basketball courts, you can light more fields. There's a cost to everything, but if you want to be competitive and provide the service, and the folks who are coming, Goodwin Mills, they have built facilities all over the southeast, and they can show you economic impact numbers. When you build a facility and people come and use it, there is an economic impact to the whole community. But you have to make sure that the demand side is there. And so it's just, there's a lot to it.
All right, next we'll do the update of our ongoing projects.
I've given you a couple of sheets. I went back to a town center item update. Just to start, I know everybody got the bad news on the rock problem at the deck. The good news is they're still July 22nd. They're still starting back full schedule. Been very fortunate that with prices coming down, the multifamily developer is almost happy for the delay. So we aren't going to get any pushback there. We closed on the library parcel. We're waiting on the county legal department to review the plat and everything, so we can transfer that property to the county, because they have a contractor and they're going to be ready to go in probably inside of 6 weeks. Just wanted to make a note also, the regular Kaiser call is not that regular. Every Wednesday, sometimes there's not enough on the agenda to have that call. But he will send out, I think he sends out the notice right now to Gretchen and Barbara, and he can send it out to everybody, and you can join if we have it and if you're interested there. But looking at the town center items individually, phase 1 site work is complete except for some little touch up. We're reviewing the bills right now, and probably we'll have a meeting. I know we had a short meeting last week, but we need to have a longer meeting to go over those numbers. That should be completed sometime this week. The Grove plans, Michael Kidd is still working on the stage concept. I know you guys had a conversation in Decatur and you gave him some ideas, and so that call should be scheduled very soon. I know he's working on a few different concepts. County Library, as I said, their legal is reviewing everything before the transfer should happen. Will happen probably in the next 2 weeks. Parking deck progress, as I said, full schedule to restart. The regular OAC meeting at the trailer, it's up here. The next one is Thursday, July the 22nd. Everybody is invited to that. It's usually 10:30 in the morning. And OAC is owner, architects, and contractor. Those meetings do not include midcast. It's just people
You said-
dealing with the
What was the
debt.
date again of the?
It's right on your list, July 22nd.
Oh, okay, at what?
July
Oh, up
22nd.
here, up here.
At the
up here.
trailer at 10:30.
Got it, okay.
When I send out, let me know if you're getting too much paperwork. I send out not only the report from our master developer, I think you got another one today, you also get a winter construction report. I mean, I love pictures. I mean, the pictures are great, the text is good, it might spur some questions on your part, so I'm gonna keep sending it. I hope it keeps everybody better updated. Multifamily residential, Fortune Johnson, the contractor, is, they're doing fine, they're on schedule. They're probably going to be behind a couple weeks. Phase 1 may not be ready September 1, it might be the middle of September. So, but they've got plenty to do on their site right now. Stormwater and master detention is complete, both sides of the road. Market design and development, Placemaker is working with Jamal and his architects. They should be back to us next week to start get our input on visioning for that building, what it should look like, how it should function. Public infrastructure right-of-way improvements, the plan is still to bid these in July. Make a note there about calls with Larry are less frequent as plans are complete here. We're still working on Wisteria and 124. I know the mayor's had a couple conversations with some folks, so we need to keep pushing there. Sign ordinance, I've asked the developer to come up with their specifics so we can sit down and look at our development ordinance and see how we fit, see where they will need some special permits. We'll talk more about that. They're getting that plan together. Sanitary sewer expansion for phase 2. There's really two parts there. The project from Eastwood to Old Hickory is going very well. They probably will be done in December of '21. The second part is the short connection from their last manhole to the Midcast property that fronts on Wisteria. And we've got good news there. GWR has approved that design. The city connection should be bid very, very soon on that little short section. Because as we are meeting with Kirk the other day, I think they're kind of pushing up their schedule for developing phase 2. And there will be more meetings there and more folks will be involved. Just quickly, I know we're running short of time. Human resource issues, I've made an offer for an assistant city manager. I should have a note out to you guys, hopefully tomorrow. He's been in touch with his mayor today, and we should have all the specifics worked out. Really ended up with 4 final candidates. I feel like he is in the age range and the experience area where once he's had a chance to work here for a couple of years, he will be ready and will give you a real option to carry on with in the future with him. So we'll hopefully I'll have something out to you tomorrow about that. Annexation Roy has been, I think he's been enjoying his retirement. We don't know where Greg went, but he's, I think he's working at the garage and trying to get things in order there. And we're going to have lunch next week and discuss that. Sidewalk improvements, we really that needs to be part of a work session.
Yeah.
I know you handed it out and maybe folks haven't had a chance to look at everything, but we need to schedule something and
Right.
make sure everybody's up to date on that, because that's, there's a lot of good things that can come out of that. Alcoholic beverage code, that's really another work session item, legal review there. The ARPA funds, we are as far along that path as anybody else, we just don't have a check yet. We've been told that the first check should be about $4.7 million, we just don't have it yet. Briscoe Park, this presentation tonight will be a good lead-in to the work session on Wednesday afternoon. Tax billing, we're on schedule. All the needs that, appreciate the adoption of the resolution tonight prospectively, and our target mailing date is still September the 15th. When it comes to quality of life, I've got some good news from the presidential, I don't know if it's Commons or Markets. We're Home Depot on truck parking. They'll be-
Presidential,
Is it Markets?
That's Commons.
Commons?
Yeah.
Okay. They will have parking enforcement signs up, and they've given direction to the towing company to where the officer on duty for the city of Snellville can call them in and have vehicles towed. So they'll be, I have to give Miss West credit there, the manager of the facility. She's been true to her word. So, and, working together, I think will make a difference down there.
I've noticed that now the trucks are over in the Lowe's parking lot.
Yeah, it is a lot more
Academy
organized.
Sports parking
It's
lot.
kind of
There
like
was-
killing an anthill.
Yeah,
They just move
there was
around.
one out at the park next to the community garden, weekend lot.
Yeah,
There are semis with trailers parking at the QT on
Yeah.
78, so
Maybe we need the county to put in a truck parking lot out towards Loganville or something.
well, the county put a group together and we participated in it, and we gave them a map of where all our issues are, and I've never heard a follow-up.
well, when I spoke to people who were out there moving their trucks, they live in Lawrenceville, they live in Lilburn, and they were parking here because we weren't enforcing.
Yeah.
And they were being run off of those locations, and they were like, well,
Yeah, well,
give me.
we need to see
give me
what
an
they're
option.
doing. Yeah.
Okay, is that it? And then noise ordinance, and we're out of time.
we're out of time.
So, let me just pass these out. These are the newest red line updates.
Now, did those
to-
take into account our comments? Did anybody get you a copy of our
These-
comments that have gone out within the last week?
These are all the comments that at least have been shared with me up till yesterday. So, so they will defer from what's in the packet that you all got.
Okay,
Once you went to Greg, yeah, be good.
Yeah.
So, the big, main outstanding issue is still whether you all are hard and fast on doing the distances, and if you are, we really need to visit those distances, or if we want to try to, back off of that, and maybe, I think it would be good to have Greg or his folks, chime in on really how they really see enforcing or what's going to work for them. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I'm trying to,
No, there
make it where you guys can do something and not be.
doable.
was a section that dealt with the enforcement that it basically read that we shall issue a warning citation. And there might be situations that don't deserve a warning on the first offense.
Okay.
So if that could be modified, that would probably help. There's also some of what I noticed on the apartment distances. I mean, 10 feet.
Yeah, an apartment, that's gonna be
You can
tough,
have your
yeah.
TV on just a little bit too loud.
Yeah.
Depending on how the apartment's built. Some of them are built to different standards.
I agree 100%.
So, I mean, probably the main problem is having a citizen that wants to weaponize the ordinance against our residents.
Right.
Well, Greg, could you have either you or someone from the department take a look at it and just give us a list of issues that you see from an enforcement side of things?
And then we can put it together and we can circulate it to the group.
Can we do that?
And see, because that's, whenever we're kind of regulating things like this, it comes down to what can we practically enforce?
Right.
And don't want to put an undue burden on the police. And, I mean, it's just like enforcing a mask mandate that everybody wanted. It's like,
Right.
so what are you going to do? You're sending a police officer into Publix in the produce department
Yeah.
because somebody's not wearing a mask. I'm not sure that that's what we want to do.
And once you get to court in front of a judge, people are gonna pick that apart.
Right.
We've got a lot of people in town that will do that.
So if you guys can look at it from your perspective too, so that we can,
We're not married to that, we were just trying to use the ordinance. Would it help to be able to say, like on apartments and close proximity dwellings, to say that those distances are from exterior, being able to hear? So it's 50 feet from the exterior wall of if I hear the noise, not if my wall's up against theirs.
Yeah, that could possibly help,
Yeah.
but, I mean, it's just, it's gotta
Well,
be
because
there.
you're not gonna go in and say, well, let me sit here and see if I hear.
Right.
So
And
it'd
then
have to be exterior.
one of the other main issues we have to come to some agreement about is whether we're gonna allow a permit for,
people to violate the
Special
ordinance.
right,
Yeah.
people,
Yeah,
yeah,
especially.
Well,
so that's, yeah.
All right, we're past 7:30. Is there a motion to adjourn the work session?
Motion adjourned.
There's a motion, is there a second?
second.
All in favor? 6-0.